God knew gods and goddesses, kings and queens. God knew his God and you, the Nazi greeting, family, allies, and enemies. So look, I'm about to talk about the US dollar because right now I notice a lot of folks be on a dollar and talking about how they balling and own bread and how they get money. So let's really start talking about money and where the dollar is today. See, a lot of people don't really understand what's going on with the actual dollar. So we're going to move into the quantitative easing right here. Shift away from the US dollar as world reserve currencies are underway. So what do they mean by the shift? Let's continue to read. Today, more than 60% of foreign currency reserves, more than 60% of foreign currency reserves in the world are in US dollars. But there are big changes on the horizon. Some of the biggest economies on earth has been making agreements with each other, it says in other, to move away from using the US dollar in internal trades. And it says, and this shift is going to have massive implications on the U.S. economy. China has the second largest economy on the face of the earth, and the size of the Chinese economy is projected to pass the U.S. by 2016. And you already know that it's 2017, so this is late information. And this project to become 3 times, it says, and projected to become 3 times larger than the U.S. economy by the year 2040. It says, all right, so China and other emergent powers, and let's go through this. Russia, as Russia have been quietly making agreements to move away from the dollar. It says in international trade for the last few years, and talking about the dollar supremacy is basically falling. Now, in here, Victoria had wrote this, but now let's go through some of the things that they say is going to affect the dollar. And you can really find this everywhere, and these are the main things. And this is one that I just found information on. Japan and China had done talks. I got to do more reading and studying on that. Right here it says Japan and China to use own currencies in bilateral trade. Now what they mean by the bilateral trade mean that they're going to do business straight with each other. So China is going to have some of Japan money, Japan going to have some of China money, and they're going to keep their money so they can do the trading, right? The BRICS plan to use own currency. It says plan to use own currency when trading with each other. Okay, if you don't know what the BRIC nations are, the BRIC nations is Brazil, Russia, India, China. BRIC. And then South Africa joined it. So now it's BRICS, right? All right, China and Russia use own currency in bilateral trade. China, Russia already been doing this. And now, the reason why the United States went into Libya was before this very same thing. Went into Iraq for this very same thing. But if you notice, the United States, see everybody doing this, the United States came war with the world, so she had to change her direction. Number 4, it says use of China currency growing in Africa. Chinese currency growing in Africa. Now, let's stop right there. Now, let's go on to this next one. And this is another very important point on why the dollar is falling. It says a new world monetary system is being set up right now, which will completely kill the US dollar, which is the world's reserve currency. 23 countries, 60% of the world's GDP are setting up swap lines, which bypass the dollar in SWIFT. Now you got to understand what SWIFT is. SWIFT is the way to exchange money through computers. Like if I want to have money go from this bank to that bank, and the United States had control of that, and the United States actually shut down. Don't give me the line and throwing out false information. I don't know if it was Venezuela. It was one of the countries that are Iran. I know Iran was affected by the SWIFT thing when they said that they was going to stop doing business in a dollar. So Iran was affected by that. All right, here we go. SWIFT, which is the dollar-based worldwide financial transaction system. There we go. That just explained it. Which is the dollar-based worldwide financial transaction system. So worldwide, everybody can use SWIFT to move the dollar. The dollar was the world reserve currency. That means everybody traded their money to get the dollar. So if the dollar was higher, they had to trade more of their money, which means that it leveraged wealth to the United States. So that means when these people are leveraging their wealth to the United States and now they say they're going to do their own business without the United States, it's leveraging the wealth away from the United States. And they have big implications on you. All right. So let's go off this. It says once the new system is in place, our dollar won't be needed. They start talking about the dollar. They won't need the dollar. And what happened to the dollars that they have that they won't need? Well, here, take your motherfucking money back. And where that money goes? Right back here. What does that happen? $1,000 worth of for a loaf of bread. Yeah. All right. So now, well, hold on. Let's go to the QEs right now, because I was talking about the quantitative easing and I mentioned it. If I didn't, let me mention it. Quantitative easing 1, 2, 3, and it went from 4 and 8. I had read something somewhere, but since I can't explain it, I'm not going to talk about how they snuck in another form of quantitative easing. This one here says quantitative easing 1. QE1, QE2, and QE3, the U.S. dollar Federal Reserve System held between $700 billion and $800 billion of Treasury notes on its balance sheets before the recession. In late November 2008, the Federal Reserve started buying $600 billion in mortgage-backed securities. Y'all all know what happened around that time in 2008 when they start Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and all that right there, and they start selling them balloon mortgages and selling things to people that people can afford it. Yeah. All right. Here we go. QE4 was the fourth round of quantitative easing established by the federal government. Through QE4, the Feds bought long-term U.S. Treasury notes using credit. It just simply created. It says it used its trading desk as the New York Federal Reserve Bank, buying $85 billion in treasuries from the member banks each month. So they just buying things. Now, check this. This is when you know the dollar is fucked up. So everybody talk about Africa. Africa, bro. Even though we know Africa is the most richest mineral resourceful nation on the face of the planet, but we know that they doing bad over there, right? Check this. These events originated mainly outside of it says events over the last few years. It says are slowly but surely slowing down Africa's stellar growth economic growth. It says these it says if the continent political leaders do not proactively adopt the necessary economic policies to restructure their economies now, their own political futures as well as the future of Africa will be at risk. What are they talking about? They're talking about diversifying out of the dollar. The events originated mainly outside of Africa. It says, but with globalization, their impacts are being felt by many African countries and their consequences can be disastrous. And then here we go. Since the end of the quantitative easing by the Federal Reserve by 2014, the quantitative easing even hit Africa. And go look at what they was doing in Zambia. Zambia. Go look at what they was doing. They was talking about arresting people for having a dollar, like it's having crack cocaine. And a lot of the countries in Africa saying, "Look, homie, we ain't fucking with the dollar." Right now, that's what's happening. And the Black Americans, and the Africans in America, Negroes, and everybody else that's here, anybody else that's watching this, and the enemies of mine, and what enemies do you have? Well, and all those that consider me to be your foe. Yeah, you. And my allies, a lot of you are basically holding your everything in the dollar. Diversify out of the dollar. Would I tell you to go buy silver and gold? No, that would be stupid and asinine. Why? That would be stupid and asinine because we don't have a silver-based economy. You can't go through the hood trying to trade silver with somebody that got a 9 and ain't hungry. What you need to do is start farming. Revolutionary garden. Revolutionary garden. Revolutionary garden. Start farming. In the racism shit, get past that bullshit. If your neighbors are white, have them farm. If your neighbors are Mexican, have them farm. If your neighbors are Muslim, Christian, whatever, have them garden. Everybody need to garden. Every piece of land, it need to be some food. Start to get rain collections. All your gutters need to be for collecting rain. Learn how to purify water for drinking water. Go buy little tubs that you're going to be able to take baths in. Buy shovels, because you may need to create an outhouse and dig some holes for you to shit in. Buy shovels. Learn how to create these outhouses. Build an outhouse right now. It may not get that bad, but if it do, at least you'll be ready. But if it do, and if it don't worry, you're ready. But if it do, who says that you won't be the one starving? And hungry people would look at your children as food, and the weak will become food. United States don't know what it means. Don't know what it's like to struggle and be hungry. These people, all the fat folks, are going to die. It's going to be, man. Hey, if you overweight, you want to lose weight now, cause you may have to leave your city, and then if you too big to move and walk long distances, then you're going to be one of the weak. Children, elderly, the sick are going to be the first to fall off. You feel me? Not to mention the first couple of hours. But there's many videos about that. And if you want, I could do a video about that and things that you should do and things you could prepare for. But I'm going to cut this video for being so long. But Revolutionary Garden, the dollar is in danger. And if you have all of your savings in dollars, it's in danger. Also, check out bail-ins. They had the bailout. Check out bail-ins. Bail-ins, the United States haven't started it, but has the system set up for bail-ins. They could pretty much start saying how much money you can take out of your account. Yes. So you may want to start holding some money in your house. Buy seeds. Buy bullets. Even if you don't got a gun, buy bullets. Just try to trade bullets. Buy bags of rice. The United States already stopped hoarding for food. They got laws on the books for hoarding. So if you buying big bags of rice, you could be considered a terrorist. Hoarding food could make you a terrorist. So you got to look, the United States is preparing for this. And the United States know what is coming. But she's not telling you because she don't want you to panic. She wants you to stay calm, cool, and collective while she try to get this under wraps. But I am telling you, Revolutionary Guard, power to the people.